Hello and welcome to this An Actor Thomas video. Now today I'm going to do something a little bit different. It's not going to be a strict TV or movie review as I normally would. So, what today's going to be about is a documentary that a couple of weeks ago I was just going through YouTube videos and I saw this documentary called Up. And it was from, say, 1991, I think it was. And it was about these people who, in 1991, were 35. And it was talking about their lives. About what that year and what the last 7 years had been like for them in their lives. And that was very interesting. And I watched this documentary, and then after I finished watching it, I went on to Google and I typed in Up documentary, ITV, and I found out that it had been running since 1964, where they brought together a group of so many people from different walks of life here in the UK. Some were from rather rich families, some were from rather poor families, some were from the East End of London, some people were from West London, the more more expensive and everything like that. And obviously, it just shows. So, like I said, it started off in 1964 when these people were 7 years of age, and in that you got to see as these 7-year-old children talking about what their lives, their hopes were for when they grew up and became adults, their jobs and everything like that, and what they wanted for their futures. And also what their lives were like in 1964 as 7-year-olds, with their families and friends and going to school. Then, every 7 years after that, this show goes back to each person, and you hear about their life at that present time, so whatever year it may be, and what their life has been between this episode and the last episode, and if their lives had turned out anything close to what their original predictions were back when they were 7. And obviously it's very interesting. It's very interesting to see a show, a documentary show that charts the lives of the people. And it isn't the whole idea of having characters that have been written by writers and everything like that, and all their lives are made up. These people are actually living their lives. There is some people in this show that they had such promising outlooks and futures for themselves when they were 7 or 14. But by the time they were 35, they were completely off the beaten track and not doing anything that they even wanted to do when they were children. And they're still doing that up to the last one, which was 2012. It's the idea that even though you might have an idea of what you want to do in your life, whatever happens in your life, that may not always happen for you. It probably won't always happen for you because of the simple fact of the matter being, you can't always do what you want. And that's the thing about this show, I think, which I enjoy. I've bought all of the episodes. So, like I say, the first one was 1964, the second one was 1970, then 77, then 84, then 91, 98, 2005, and then last one was 2012. The next one should be 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Should be 2019. So, like I said, I just thought I would talk about this because when over the last couple of years or so, I've been wanting to write a story or a script. As an actor, as a performer, I would love to be able to perform, and it's something like this that I really enjoy. The idea of, over a period of time, you have spent time with this individual or these individual people, and not having to see them every year, but seeing them over a period of maybe, like I say, every 7 years, over a lifespan, you get an incredible wide viewpoint of this person's life. There are some people in the show that obviously, when they were children, they said they didn't want children. They wouldn't want to have children because they wouldn't want their children to turn out like them. But when they were in their 40s, they met someone, they fell in love, and they had a child. And now they're saying, you know, it's impossible to see their lives without the children. They find it difficult to relate to what what they said when they were 7 or 14, when they were young children, saying, we wouldn't want a child because we don't know if we'd be able to be a good parent. And the idea that they've turned into one of the best parents that are in the entire documentary. And there's some of the people that weren't particularly good parents to their children, but they've turned into even better grandparents. And it's just remarkable that, like I say, shows like this that chart the life span of people, I think are really, really clever. Now, also, there have been shows that have been influenced by this. Like there is a show that I was going to be doing a review later on in this year, which starred Daniel Craig, Christopher Eccleston, Mark Strong and Gina McKee, called Our Friends in the North, which is a superb show. It starts in similar times in the mid 1960s, ends early 1990s, and it follows the lives of these 4 characters from Newcastle, and it's over this like 30-odd year period. You see the changing fortunes and lifestyles and changing people of these 4 characters. And then more recently there has been another show which is sort of similar in that respect, that it charts the life of these people that were all at university together, and then after maybe 40 years they all go back to the house that they lived in the 1960s as students. And you think that's superb. It's a really interesting, really clever way of telling a story. And I just wanted to let you guys know, it's, to me, like I say, it's a really clever story. It's not even a story, it's a really clever way of looking at how, not only how people change, but how the system of a country changes. I am aware that there are a few remakes of this. I know there's one over in America, there's one in Australia, I think there's one in China as well. Like I say, if you ever get the chance, I would just, and you're interested in seeing how people have, if you're interested in seeing how people change through their lives, and also the changing world of the UK throughout the 60s up to the modern day, I would suggest that you watch it, because it's really clever. It's a really smart way of charting history. And there are things in here that I really didn't know, but it's superb. And yeah, so I just thought I would let you guys, I thought I'd talk to you guys about this. obviously it won't be for everyone's interest, but like I said, I've watched them all. It all started off because I was bored watching videos on YouTube, and I just saw this and I thought, it's an hour long. If it's rubbish, I can watch it for 5 minutes. If I like it, I can carry on watching it. If I don't, I can stop. And that was it. And because of that, it made me go off and do all this interesting research and all that sort of stuff. And I just thought it was really interesting. I thought I might share this with you. But thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you next time. Goodbye.